Hey everyone, it's Splatoon Reacting Guy 4404-5215-4944-2391. That's my credit card number. Back again with a Splatoon 3 update trailer. Let's watch. Yo, let's go. Flounder Heights is back. It's gonna be as good as ever. Oh, and that new map, I'm sure it's gonna have a sick layout. Okay, so Flounder Heights may be Flounder Lows now, and that new map is just a Mahi Mahi resort layout again. But yo, the Kraken's back this season. We've got Manta Maria, pretty cool. Umami Ruins as well, and the Inkopolis DLC drops this season. Can't wait to watch the Inkopolis news. Okay, so the Kraken was on about 2 weapons total, and Umami Ruins was the same layout as Brinewater Springs. But hey, at least it's time for a Splatoon 1 map this time around, huh? Well, hey, at least that new map looks cool. Alright, so I literally just want a Splatoon 1 map. Let's watch. Splatoon as a series relies on the free post-launch update model, a model some other Nintendo games have previously used as excuses to release with bare-bones content, sell a burst of launch copies with the promise of more to come, only for the updates to give you 2 characters and a pat on the back. It's a model I'm not particularly fond of as an excuse to release unfinished games, but Splatoon released on the Wii U, of course being on live support, as a brand new IP, so I feel the limited launch content made sense, and of course when the game did well, they actually ramped up content production into overdrive, delivering some top tier stuff. But 1 year into Splatoon 3's life, and the game has been accused of skimping on the content updates a decent amount lately. With a promise in the 2022 pre-launch Splatoon 3 Direct for 2 years worth of consistent seasonal updates, the game is sort of relying on this limited amount of updates to keep the game alive and well, to keep the player base growing or at least sustained, all leading up to the inevitable time gap between the final update and the next major release in the series. Now, I reviewed Splatoon 3's launch earlier this year, and while having some glaring flaws in the innovation and new content department, there was a lot to enjoy gameplay-wise at launch. It has the most engaging gameplay in the series, with creative new weapons, mains, and specials included, and new features in the Squid Roll and Surge to emphasize just how unique Splatoon is as a movement shooter. But even with some amazing new weapons, we get new kits added at a snail's pace, barely enough to take advantage of the endless synergistic possibilities in these super expressive new specials. Moreover, the game's fluidity in movement is completely sedated when 7 out of 20 maps all look and play exactly the same, and most of those 20 provide 0 options for gameplay variety and player expression in a series with the best setup for it I've ever seen. Hope you enjoy squid surging up the 3 or less inkable walls provided in each map. So I think it's time to ask, is Splatoon capable of more? Of better? Have we gotten more weapons, modes, music, gear, all that good stuff in the past? Is it worth getting potentially 30 stages by the end of the update cycle if the development just looks like this? So I've decided to take a stroll down memory lane and look through the series' previous free content drops and what they did right and where things maybe started slipping. After all, each and every Splatoon game's final end product, alongside its legacy, lives and dies with these major updates that tend to add more content than it even started with in the first place. So I'll be going through giving letter grades for each major update and doing a whole big comparison all round between the games. Splatoon 1, on launch, was more stuffed with content than my wallet, which isn't saying a lot. It has a level 4 EB card, 35 cents, and a photo of a man I have several restraining orders against. But looking back, it's so hard to believe how little there was. And this is speaking strictly of the launch, because technically they had only Turf War until Ranked Battle with Splat Zones only was added a few days after release. But there are only 16 main weapons at launch, with 29 kits total. The freaking Carbon Roller didn't exist at launch, that's wild to me. By the time I picked up the game in late June, there was so much more in this game. Splatoon 1 updates were awesome, especially right out of the gate. There were 3 maps released in the month of June alone, 2 in July, and an average of 1 a month from then on until the updates stopped in January 2016, presumably to start development on Splatoon 2 for July of the next year. The biggest content update of Splatoon, Update 2.0, is the only major update of this nature for Splatoon 1. Dropped on August 6th, 2015, a mere month after the release of the game, we got a fantastic update. It added 2 new modes with Squad Battle, which is the ranked rotation but in matchmaking with groups of friends, and Private Battle, 2 new weapon classes with the Splatling and Slosher, a whole slew of new gear, 4 new music tracks, a new rank cap to S and S+, and a level cap from 20 to 50 now, with new rewards every 5 levels, and a major rework of Urchin Underpass, a welcome more open change in the map's layout at that. This update for Splatoon 1 was incredibly solid, with the devs acting quickly within a month to support what I think may have been a slightly unforeseen breakout hit with some pretty essential features. The music from Chirpy Chips and High Tide Era is a personal highlight of mine, with some of my favourite battle music in the entire series. And Rainmaker, my favourite mode, snuck its way into the same update, being playable a week after it dropped. Yeah, this update was elite, this gets a solid S. But this update, as I've already covered, does not do the flow of Splatoon content updates any justice, with maps releasing constantly, a new weapon releasing every 5 days from launch to January 2016, including 18 brand new weapons, with 8 more kits in bulk in April 2016 and 9 in June. We even got a new mode with tower control randomly in June 2015. Splatoon 1, I believe, did post-launch content incredibly well. The quality of the maps was staggering with each update, giving us unique, identifiable concepts with each and every post-launch map. Some may have missed the mark a bit, namely Moray Towers, Piranha Pit, and Hammerhead Bridge for me personally, but overall, these post-launch maps are some of my favourites in the entire series. And even with those maps mentioned, they're still so special and so carefully made, I can see reason to love any of them. The stages of Splatoon 1 have plenty of parts and inkable walls, who would have thought I need to notably point out that aspect, that allow for a variety of aggressive, defensive, and supportive positioning that felt easy to play and enjoy. Sure, the game started off modest at first, but quickly expanded to be extremely beefy overall, and made sense that it wasn't too jam-packed at the beginning because it was a brand new game you just can't go all in on before it's proven itself. But as soon as it did, Splatoon hit the ground running and really used the post-launch content to provide us with true evolution in the game's maps, modes, and weapons. Splatoon 2 had a fairly disappointing launch in regards to the amount of things to do, but with what I assume wasn't a much longer development cycle than Splatoon 1, with there being a 2-year window between releases and a 1-year window between Splatoon 1's updates and Splatoon 2's release. But they mainly focused up on polishing the visuals, gameplay, and mechanics, so I wasn't all too mad with the launch state, with promise of more to come later. And more certainly came, but was it enough? Splatoon 2 continued Splatoon 1's tradition of releasing a new weapon every 5 days until April 2018, and a map every 3 weeks to a month on average until October 2018. Following March 2018, we'd get a set of either 4 to 8 weapons per month until December 2018, and then a final set of 12 in April 2019. This was disappointing because by the end of the game, not every weapon had a third kit, despite some weapons getting 3, so it felt kind of unfair, especially when all it took to make a third kit was to just recolor it a bit and code in a new sub and special. And the maps got a decent bit worse in Splatoon 2, generally less creative with ideas, and when they were creative, they were quite restricting to movement, with fewer flanks and more annoying means of traversal at times, Schellendorf and New Albacore namely. But even though the amount of weapons wasn't perfect, it averaged out to 1 every 7 days across the game's life, where Splatoon 1 had 1 every 6.4 days, so it's really not that much of a difference, especially since we got them for longer as well. There was also the new special of Bubble Blower randomly in there somewhere, as well as Salmon Run maps and Grizzco weapons being thrown in too. So in terms of miscellaneous updates, there was plenty happening basically every month at the very least. As for the distinct, segmented content drops however, Splatoon 2 came out with Update 2.0 on November 24th, 2017, releasing with 4 new hairstyles, customizable legwear, a bunch of new gear, 5 new songs, a new Salmon Run stage of Salmonid Smokeyard, enhanced amiibo photography features, new cross-bucket menu items, and an expanded level cap from 50 to basically 99 star, which can then be reset again to 1 star to have infinite level ups. And besides all of that, Clan Blitz, a brand new ranked mode, released 3 weeks later, but I'm rounding it in with this update because it was shown off in the same trailer. And lastly, we finally got the ability to change gear and continue playing between rounds for the first time in the series. This was a lot of stuff, some really great customization options in there, but I didn't quite like the music they added, so I'm docking a few points there. It didn't really fit in that well. But I, to this day, still really enjoyed Clan Blitz and was overjoyed to get a new ranked mode. I'd give this update an A+, added tons of stuff. I just wish they didn't add the Shipwreckin' song. Genuinely an audio transmitted disease, and the Salmon Run stage is in my opinion the worst one made, but still a great update. Update 3.0 would follow on April 25th, 2018, adding over 100 gear items once again, 2 banger new songs from Chirpy Chips, Rank X, and obviously most importantly, Callie appears in Octo Canyon to give random stats. Rank X was a lot of fun in this game, just giving an incentive to grind my ass off and just enjoy the game more, pushing to get better and better, with the game spreading out the congested top level of S Plus now into a huge range of X power. But besides that, and the songs being great, yeah, this update added some decent extra stuff, but it's about a B- from me. Now update 4.0 was quite a big one. I'm just gonna lump it all together because it released over 2 months on September 14th, 2018 and October 3rd, 2018 and November 7th, 2018, but follows a similar trend of adding Kenza weapons each time with new subs and specials as well. Here we had a major rework to Splatfest, adding 10 and 100 times battles, 2 new subs with the Fizzy Bomb and Torpedo, some wonderfully designed new specials with the Booyah Bomb and Ultra Stamp, which are also very fun, 4 new music tracks which are pretty good, the Ruins of Arc Polaris Salmon Run stage, which is my personal favourite in the game, and a new ability of Main Power Up, with Cold Blooded and Bomb Defense Up to merge into Bomb Defense Up DX2, with new Tony Kenza branded gear making its debut as well. Now adding brand new sub and special weapons that were really fun at that was great to see, and the 10 and 100x editions were quite fun, although 3 made them way better when it upped the chances of seeing them. But Main Power Up was a plague that hindered the game balance and I hate it, so this update gets an F. Just kidding, it gets an A-. I like it a good amount, but fuck Main Power Up. Oh, and I guess I should mention Octo Expansion, because it's technically post-launch content. I've already covered this paid DLC campaign in a separate, entirely dedicated review of Splatoon 2, but to summarize, it's a meaty single-player story expansion with a focus on the Octolings and a big epic threat and all that good stuff. With excellent lore, characters, boss battles, challenges, atmosphere and story, it's well worth its price and gets an S+. Now Splatoon 3 changed update drops to a seasonal approach this time, adding literally nothing ever if it isn't the first day of a real life season. These updates give us, with a few scrappy features here and there, mostly new catalogs with splash tag banners, splash tag titles, victory emotes, gear, exclusive or not, table turf cards, mystery boxes, locker decorations and stickers, and random food and drink tickets, the latter 3 listed here not actually new additions to the game, but giving you more useful utility stuff. But the main thing included here this time are the new stages and new weapons, mostly weapon kits, but sometimes new mains as well. This was weird, because where stages and weapons were previously spread around outside of major content drops, they're included here this time, with everything dropping on a set date, with strictly nothing else in between season launches. So, Chill Season 2022 kicked off on December 1st, 2022, reintroducing X Battles but as a separate playlist now that you can get into super easily S+, and just compete in. Cool I guess, but you re-gifted us a gift that you gave us 4 years ago after taking it away. Otherwise, they added more gear, victory animations, all that catalog stuff just mentioned really. This season also kicked off Big Run, but that's like a once every 3 months event. It's like a less common Splatfest, but to be nice I'll count it fine. And we can count the Grizzco Splatana joining the Illegal Grizzco weapons too, able to one-shot through armor, a real godsend. Oh, it had also reworked Tricolor Turf War, but not in any real revolutionary way though, just tweaking the details of how it functions. I cover that mostly in my Splatoon 3 launch review. Excluding weapons and maps, which were given in previous games outside of huge content drops, this update is like a C+. As for maps, we got the return of Flounder Heights with reduced flanking options and a smaller scale, but still pretty damn solid, and Brinewater Springs, a smallish map with no inkable walls, but it's okay. We also got a port of Marooner's Bay for Salmon Run from Splatoon 2, however, a pretty solid choice. For weapons, we got 12 new kits and 3 new mains, fairly weak mains at the time, but have since been buffed to be decent. Including stages and weapons, this update could probably get boosted to a B. That might seem fairly low to you, but you have to remember that these updates, including stages and weapons, have a lot more to accomplish, since there is zilch between seasons, 3 entire months. The game basically lives off of what is dropped at these updates, so for Chill Season 2022, I personally don't think that this is enough weapons to hold us over for that long. I can't stress enough that nothing happens for 3 months, but I'll elaborate more later. Now, Fresh Season 2022 began on March 1st, 2023, bringing in 2 new specials with the Super Chomp, a unique dispersal special that will zone out an area, and the reworked Kraken, bigger and better than ever with a new dash attack. It's also kinda slow, but it's big now. There are of course more catalog items as expected too, victory animations most notably, and quite a lot of new and returning gear. But it also debuted the Extra Work mode, with 5 preset Salmon Run waves to compete for the highest score, and a brand new King Salmonid with Horrorboros debuting in a big run. It's insanely cool, I find it quite difficult to beat, but it's got a lot of charm, a welcome addition. The Extra Work mode is sadly quite limited though, so I can't award too many points there. But we also got Liquid Sunshine, a new Squid Sisters song with Big Man for Splatfest battles. For the few other things too, we got online table turf finally, a jukebox to change lobby music, and rewards that are way too expensive to spend Salmon Run fish scales on, but appreciated nonetheless, I guess. Why the f does this random ass jacket cost an arm and a leg though? But Fresh Season was pretty great though, I'm giving it an A for this stuff. But I'll even boost it to an A+, considering weapons and stages. With 11 new kits, it's still not that many, and Umami Ruins is a very similar layout to Brine Water, but with a bit more of an open mid, but an extremely lockout heavy spawn area that's just plain frustrating. Manta Maria was a decent choice to bring back, with some terrain expression in some areas, but also the removal of a flank route on certain modes too for no reason. Now in between here we have the Inkopolis DLC sneaking in on the same day, available as Wave 1 for the Splatoon 3 expansion pass, which can only be bought as a package deal with Wave 2, Side Order, releasing at some point. For paid content with this, worth I assume about $5 compared to the media Side Order to come, I wanted one thing: some insane nostalgia. We get the return of old Inkopolis NPCs from the original Wii U lobby, and some new ones. Spike is back, and the Squid Sisters perform a remastered City of Color and a new song as well during Splatfest. The lobby looks great, especially during Splatfest 2. It's super vibrant and exciting. It absolutely succeeds at making me nostalgic every time. I definitely don't regret buying it, knowing Side Order will probably be great. But where's the Inkopolis news? I never thought I'd be asking for it to be back, but now that I can skip it, it would be my choice to sit through it and relive that classic news show with the Callie Marie banter I miss. For paid content, I really wish they went that extra mile. I'm giving this DLC update a B+. Now Sizzle Season 2023 from June 1st, 2023. This update added the usual gear, but far less this time. Emotes, the catalog, all that, with 3 new regular battle songs, challenges, and the Salmon Run map, Jammin' Slammin' Junction. B. First of all, challenges suck. In concept, they're amazing, and when you get to play them, they're a great time. Too bad they're barely ever on and randomly disable sub abilities sometimes. I calculated it, and there are 2,208 hours in Sizzle Season 2023 from June through to August. 108 of them have challenges active. 5% of the entire season in random bursts of 2-hour windows, and the same maps are reused over and over again for the same challenges. This whole system is just weird. Just put a challenge up for a whole weekend at a time or something. I don't know, I don't run the game, but they do get credit for some great new music and a very nice Salmon Run map, and for finally fixing being able to change gear and continue matchmaking when in a ranked open lobby, hence the B rating. But again, that was removing a feature that was in Splatoon 2, so you don't get that much credit. I'll only boost it to a B+ for stages and weapons, considering they did add 2 new main weapons that are fairly solid, with a new long range brush that was long overdue, and a weird long-short range blaster hybrid. But I hate Barnacle and Dime. It's the same thing again as the other 2, and I'm sick of it now. And Humpback Pump Track, I'm actually one of the few people who really like that map, and I'm pretty happy to have it back. Improve the Rainmaker layout as well. Now, to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of Splatoon 3, the brand new Drizzle Season 2023 on the 1st of September 2023. It's actually not too bad. They've added new gear customization options with the ability to flip a cap backwards or oversize all your shirts. It's nice to continue to think of these cool things to do. They also added 2 new battle songs, immediately one of my all-time favorites with Aquasonic, but I love them both. They fit right in, alongside the new deep cut banger of Big Betrayal as well. Oh, and the return of Salmonid Smokeyard. Yay. Used to hate this map, maybe Egg Throw will improve it though. But there are also the Grizzco Dualies with 9 rolls that deal damage. They feel fantastic. And that's about it. Very little gear added this time around too, so I'll give it about a B-. But also including the weapons, we have 10 weapons, 2 new mains, 8 kits. Yeah, that's not a lot at all, but the new mains are fun, quite strong too. Maybe too strong even. Everyone uses this thing now, it's an absolute laser. But as for the stages, they finally added good maps. Including the weapons and maps, I'm boosting this update to an A-. They're big, they have plenty of alternate routes and inkable walls, they're great. Having good original maps debut, and 2 of them at that, this is probably the most exciting season yet for that reason, because the game is so dependent on how it gets filled out with not just content, but maps. They host all the skill expression you could dream of with this game. Crab Leg Capital is big with varying verticality, multiple push options on most modes, up walls, across inclines, over graded bridges, jumps off of blocks. It's a fantastic map, and the aesthetics are absolutely gorgeous, the single best atmosphere in the entire series. You can even see Hagglefish Market down below. Ship-shaped cargo co may suffer a bit with a straight hallway design you can run through very easily at times, at first, but it again is far wider than others has plenty of cover to hide behind, graded bridges on different modes. It's also a very solid stage, with a leg up even on Crab Leg because it refuses to have inescapable drop-offs that don't let you back to your base, because when it does, it has the one-way sponge. I'm sorry I didn't appreciate you while you were still here. This update has been a huge turning point for me, very surprisingly, but that has been after a year of updates. Sure, there have been events and stuff, but they get very repetitive, they aren't new content exactly, it's just a chance for you to play some spiced up gameplay once a month. But they don't keep you playing for that long. They won't be around when the game is finished with updates and events, but stages and weapons will. So now we're gonna play a game. Guess the map out of all these DLC maps added to Splatoon 3. Whatever you said, it's correct, because they're all the fucking same. It's just this again, 3 times over 9 months. We have been fed the same map. Stop! They waste amazing level aesthetics every time too. They all feature no inkable walls, relatively flat elevation, 0 flank routes, and are small as hell. And to add insult to injury, we got maps in the previous games at a faster rate too. But to Splatoon 3's credit, not for 2 years straight as it is promised here, and with 12 at launch, I'm kinda fine with this. We're nearly topping Splatoon 2's total map count by now anyway. However, I'd take quality over quantity any day if it meant we didn't get the exact same map over and over and over and over. But let's look to the positive side. This update may be a turning point from here on, but that doesn't mean the damage hasn't already been done. This is where the reliance on these post-launch updates is such a detriment, because not only is the game now clogged with bad map design, we also had to wait a year before we got any better. We bought the game on launch as a gamble on not just whether we'd get a bloated, shitty map pool by the end of the post-launch updates, but also whether the game would add enough content in general to retain interest and keep the community alive, and really take advantage of what a unique opportunity Splatoon 3 is, with some of the cleanest movement in the series. But instead, all the updates I've covered are it. Nothing in between. No stages slotted in the middle of key updates anymore, but most importantly, no more weapons allowed between updates either. But when they get added, they're usually pretty damn decent. But an average of 1 weapon every 6.4 days was added to Splatoon 1 until content drops stopped, and an average of 1 every 7 days in Splatoon 2, only dragged down by later updates because it was 1 every 5 days for quite a while. Splatoon 3 is sitting at 1 roughly every 7.76 days, so going by those calculations, I've come to the following results. If we are to believe that we will stop getting weapons after 2 years from the game's launch, we need 22.75 weapon kits per season from here on, and no new mains if we want to get third kits for every weapon. At our current rate, with an average of 11.5 weapons per season so far, 1 every 7.6 days, we will get 20 weapons to have a third kit, with 45 of 65 total mains missing out, whereas Splatoon 2 had 34 weapons receive a third kit, with 20 missing out from a total 54. It's disappointing that we can't crack this when it's so doable with updates over 2 years compared to Splatoon 2 doing it over a year and a half. Do you know how hard it is to make an alternate weapon kit for a weapon? Done. We're on track to get 150 weapons, including alternate kits, in Splatoon 3. 8 more than Splatoon 2, but at a pace far slower, which is a huge problem for engagement with the game when there isn't anything new to return to, and when you have to wait a year for your favorite weapon. Take Octobrush for example. This is useless. I waited a year for this kit that references the original Octobrush Nouveau with a beacon, but no Kraken, even though there is a Kraken in Splatoon 3 now. Why? All I'm saying is that kits take 2 seconds to make and add far more gameplay expression than what it costs to make them. It's very disappointing. Anyway, that's my look through all the updates throughout Splatoon's history. Post-launch content has been relevant to Splatoon's legacy from its very inception. It's what a majority of fans will remember the game for, by what it adds when they're most excited about the game, and what gets added to keep you sticking around. And it's what shapes the final product to be what it is when it's all said and done. It completes the package. In Splatoon 3's case, the game launched in a decent state, but in the online department, the core of Splatoon, it was an ultimate remastered collection of what came before, with 2 new weapon classes and 2 new moves. And that's great for Splatoon fans, but a lot of its potential lay with what it would do to innovate in the future, as I've illustrated the importance of in creating a legacy, with 2 huge videos about what Splatoon 1 and 2 means to me, as well as in this video showing bit by bit how they were able to achieve that with some fantastic updates through the series. But even if we don't get some new innovative gameplay or new mode or anything like that, the best thing it can do is be the ultimate Splatoon game, but it's not even going to have third kits for every weapon, not even close to it. So at this current rate, it's looking like it'll fall far from that achievement as well. But Drizzle Season 2023 showed some key improvements, most notably in the stages, a crucial component in hosting the grand appeal of Splatoon. So here's to things improving from here. I'll see you next time we revisit this game, whenever that is. Who knows, maybe we'll even get that crazy new innovative ranked mode we so desperately want. Just God forbid we get more Tetris maps. After a tough couple of months designing the last Splatoon 3 maps, what does the community have to say? Stop it with the S pieces, quit it with the Tetris S pieces, I'm inside your house, stop it with the S pieces. What do they have against Tetris S pieces? They're so cool! What else am I supposed to design then? Yo, this is straight fire!